Good afternoon, happy First Friday, and welcome to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, a sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio. Nathan Zagura and the great Gibbe. Today is Bo Bishop on assignment, and it is scheduled
a big assignment
release. Oh, it is a big assignment. By the way, I like we get a glimpse of the beautiful locks of Connor. There he is. Look at flowing. Love it. I love it. I thought I was going to get to see you. I thought we moved all this stuff so I would be seeing you, Gibbe. But we don't even have the Gibbe ISO cam there. We
don't need the ISO cam.
Well, I want an ISO cam on you.
Connor.
There it is.
Damn it.
There it is. Yes. Look at him. Looking great. You look rested. You look ready for the schedule release.
Sure. Only got 7 more hours to go.
All right. We do know some things, though. Some things that have been announced today, and we'll start with the international games. By the way, don't sleep on our schedule release video this year. Get ready for it. Get excited about it. And in terms that like Griff would understand, like if Griff were still here, I would say consider this our release video to be a turkey, which is 3 consecutive strikes. That's how good I think it's going to be. Now, international games. Friday, September the 6th, Brazil. We knew this. Green Bay against the Eagles, Peacock Network. Sunday, October the 6th, London. The Jets take on the Minnesota Vikings. Last time the Browns were in London, they took on the Minnesota Vikings. The year was 2017.
Yes.
It was the Hoff's final season. It was my first game in...
Hoff didn't even play. He was hurt. He was already done.
I can't say it was my first game in the booth. I can say it was my first game ever doing color commentary, but we were not in a booth.
We were in the stands.
There
were fans in front of us. There were fans behind us.
To the left, to the right, no monitors.
Yes.
But we did it. Sunday, October the 13th, London, 9:30 a.m. Eastern start. The Jacksonville Jaguars host. Actually, they don't host. They are at the home team for that game, which is rough for them. The Chicago Bears on the NFL Network. And then this is a game a lot of people thought the Browns would be playing in October the 20th in London, 9:30 a.m. It's the New England Patriots traveling across the pond to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then the final one, Sunday, November the 10th, Munich, Germany, the Giants and Carolina.
Gross.
Disgusting. So you said rank these games.
Yep.
From good to not so good.
I think we know the first one.
Number 1, Green Bay against Philly.
Amen.
Number 2, Jets, Minnesota.
Really? I might go Jacksonville, Chicago.
So to me, number 1 is clear. Then there's 2 good games, which are those 2, Jets, Minnesota, Jag, Chicago. And then New England, Jacksonville is 4th.
The only positive of those last 2 games that you mentioned is that they're on at 9:30 in the morning. And it's kind of cool to have games going on while you're doing the pregame show. Maybe we won't be doing the pregame show. Maybe we'll be getting ready for later day games.
Maybe we will be. Maybe it could be a primetime game. Who knows?
There you go.
Who knows? So, yeah, I would say that there are 3 good games, one of which is great, and 2 games, one of which is horrible. And that would be Carolina and the Giants.
Like, Germany can't be pleased about this. Munich can't be pleased.
I mean, they're like, you give us a year of the Hoff, and now you're going to give us the Giants and Carolina? Like, we were expecting something of a higher standard, but that's not what they got. So that's what is known so far. Now, there are plenty of rumors about what's going on out there. I've seen a leak from the side of things that is the Jag side, saying that we will actually be traveling to Jacksonville week 2. That's a reported leak out there.
I did see that from a Jacksonville reporter last night.
Yeah,
but I don't.
Who knows?
I don't know.
We'll know. We'll find out when you find out.
That'll be nice and hot if we do that.
Thanksgiving night, another reported leak. Thanksgiving night, Dolphins at Packers. I wonder if that's like the Packers' reward for going down there to Brazil. They get to host at home. They get.
I'm not sure.
Thanksgiving.
Is that a reward?
At least it's not on the road.
I mean, I would think that I might want to spend Thanksgiving in Miami rather than Green Bay.
And then we talked about the Christmas slate which is that 4-game pod.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff from Jordan Schultz, Bleacher Report, and Mary Kay has also been retweeting.
So what I've seen is Chiefs at Steelers, Ravens at Texans.
Filipponi had that, our guy in Pittsburgh.
Okay, Chiefs at Steelers, Ravens at Texans. So that means our two of the teams in our division are going to have to, and typically
if this is true,
and typically you finish up in the division, so that could be good or bad, right? They could be battered by the time they get to Week 18, but let's say we finished with either the Ravens or the Steelers, that means they also get a very, very long week to prepare for the Week 18 game.
Well, and let's not forget
if Cincinnati,
if it's that conglomeration of 4 teams, they'll play each other on Saturday, and then play each other on Christmas Day, 3 days.
So
later.
It can't be Chiefs Ravens. Because that's already been announced.
Correct.
So that means it would have to be Ravens, Steelers, and Chiefs, Texans would be the Saturday games. And Week 18 is now pretty much all division. So we will play a division team. So if we play the Bengals in Week 18, then it would be normal. But if we play either the Ravens or the Steelers, which you got to assume there's a 67% chance it's one of those two, they're going to have 11 days to get ready.
Yeah.
And that could be, depending on, if it's Ravens, that could be a monster game. If it's Steelers, hopefully it's not a monster game.
I don't know. A lot of speculation. Some of it reckless. We'll see. We're not going overseas.
No.
Surprised we're not.
No. And we haven't been in, there are so many games that have been leaked. We're really not at any of the leaks, which is good, other than being tagged into the Jags game. But the majority have not been at all from our standpoint.
Yeah, I find it fascinating. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Over under 3 games, prime time.
Over. Taking
the over?
Over.
Connor says under.
I say over.
I should go 3.5.
To go over 3. I needed to get to 4. I'm comfortable.
Connor's still
4.
going under. Do we get a Sunday Night Football? Do we get a vaunted Sunday Night Football matchup? That's the question.
I believe.
Young Connor thinks possible.
I believe we will get a Sunday, a Monday, a Thursday. Yes, I do think that we.
See, I think. What did you say?
I was going to say Sunday night for sure. Monday, potentially.
I say yes to all of them.
I think you're going to end up with 2 Mondays and a Thursday. I don't know if you're in Sunday yet. I don't know if you're in Sunday territory yet.
Let me tell you something right now.
We should be in Sunday territory, but NBC's picky about that.
Hold on.
Sunday in Baltimore.
Hold on. Sunday, you could have us Baltimore, us Cincinnati, us Pittsburgh would be a fine Sunday. Us Kansas City could be a Sunday night game.
Yeah.
That could be a Sunday night game. Here's the deal. We were chosen to be in the game Week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys in Tom Brady's debut. Whatever stink or hide the Browns was around us for a while is gone. So we will be on Sunday night. That's my guess.
I don't know. NBC's finicky
When's
like that.
the last time we were on Sunday Night Football?
Wasn't it the Rams?
Was it the Rams? Mm-hmm. At home?
We get flexed. Was that Giants game in 20? COVID year. We got flexed the Giants game.
But was it Sunday night?
Yeah. Yeah, during COVID, it was like...
those games are so hard because we were in the... I remember watching it. They went for it on 4th down early at the 1, and we stopped them, and then it was over.
Yeah, but we played them. Our game got flexed because that was the one we were because I think they were playing a bigger team the week before or the week after. We're like, what about this? What about this? The Giants weren't even on the radar. And then COVID year, 2 weeks before, they're like, and the Giants game's getting flexed. And we're like, excuse me?
All right, but 2019, I want to say week 3
Rams.
Is what it was.
Rams. That was Clay Matthews up into the ring?
That was the last time, though, that we were on the Sunday night schedule from the rip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I think we get a Sunday night game this year.
I mean, I like it. All right. How about this? How about this
How about
question
what?
for you? More 4 o'clock games or more 1 o'clock games? Because I feel like if you're not in prime time with the schedule that we have, there's going to be a lot more 4 o'clock, 4:30 games.
I think we are going to be. I think we will play. If there are 17 games, I think we will have 9 of them that are not at 1 o'clock. I think we'll have more non-1 o'clock games than 1 o'clock games.
That'll be interesting.
Since I've been here, we've only had 1 o'clock games.
I know that. I know that. But let's say, all right, I'm going, and again, this is just in my mind. We know, so Dallas is already won.
Yep.
I think we're getting 4 or 5 primetime games. So that's either 5 or 6, which means we only need 3 other games to be not at 1 o'clock. I mean, you could put any of our division games at 4:25, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Any of the matchups in our division doesn't even have to involve us, but any of those can be 4:25s. I like that. I
think that's an interesting one to look at this year, given our schedule. Even
all right, hold on.
Especially our home schedule.
Hold on.
You pulling out the opponents?
Hold on. Okay. Dolphins could potentially not be at 1. Cowboys, we know, is not at 1. Chiefs definitely could potentially not be at 1.
You got to figure out when Taylor can come.
And then every single Pitt, Cincinnati, Baltimore, I'll just put checks by them, all could not be at 1. Away games, Broncos probably is at 1. Raiders probably is at 1. Eagles might not be at 1. Commanders probably is at 1. Jags probably is. Saints probably is.
I think if we're in Vegas, we're playing at 4 o'clock.
Oh, correct.
That's
correct.
a West Coast.
So is Denver.
That's a mountain time, yeah.
So
I would think
Denver.
that's a 4 o'clock.
It's 100%. So now you have, so those are automatics. So you've got 3 automatics plus your primetime slate. If you get 4, let's just call it 4 in primetime, that would put you at 7. You just need 2 of the other, out of the 6 division games, if they're not in your primetime games, or of the Chiefs, the Dolphins, Eagles. You only need 2. I definitely think we could have 9 games that are not at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm used to playing 17.
Yeah. Or 15
Not really, it's
and then 2
exaggeration,
primetime.
obviously. Yeah. Wow. So apparently the Lions schedule is leaked completely except for 3 games.
Okay, what's going on in that organization? Because remember, they leaked their uniforms.
Man.
How does that happen?
I don't know. The Saints.
See, this goes back to a bigger picture question.
So according to, here's another leak that we just got.
All right.
According to this, we will travel to New Orleans in week 11.
I mean, that's fine. That's winter. That's what, November?
That would be, probably.
All right.
November 17th.
November in the Big Easy? Hey, give me the warm climates in the winter months. Let's go. I'm fine with that. Even it's at a dome. I get it. There's some history there.
But it's
It's a minor detail. Who gets hurt? Nobody.
Connor doesn't even know what he's laughing at.
Oh.
What did he say? What did he say?
Oh, yes, I do.
Connor, do not participate in this.
So, all right. This is my idea when it comes to the schedule. Why do we have to wait till 8 o'clock? Never mind. I understand why we have to wait till 8 o'clock.
It's a TV show
prime
now.
time. It's TV. It's a TV
But
show.
they're gonna be pissed if the Saints have leaked their entire schedule
And the Lions have leaked theirs.
through a guy who's this John Hendricks, supposedly, who was the writer reporter for at Saints News, gives the full schedule.
That happened to us a few years ago. Someone on the internet had it.
Had
and we were
ours?
all like, huh, that kind of, and it came out and you were like, wow, okay. He did actually have, but that happened a few years ago. I remember that. It was when we were not good.
Yeah.
We were not winning a lot.
I'm just amazed.
So
that those are the ones that
this
are out
is
there.
what this is. Well, you can't even do that.
I mean, there are so many like individual games to go through, but like Like Niners at Packers week 12, Titans at Bears week 1.
So why not stretch this out and make it all week? Like Monday, give me weeks 1 through 4. Give me 5 through 8 then the next day. Give me 9 through 12, and then give me 13 through the end of the year.
I like it. I like where your head's at, Gibbe.
Like, let's stretch this out because
I'm just so happy we're not on Christmas. They
if
picked
that,
two
if
teams
that
out
is
of our
indeed the
division.
case, yes, because that, and not only Christmas, but then that Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, but dude,
That screws up.
by the
everything.
way, and it's Steelers are at least at home. Ravens are at Texans, and you and I know what it's like traveling in
Oh,
and
you're
out
not
of
home.
that city.
And they're an hour and a half further.
Yeah, they're gone. Gonzo Balonzo. They're gone Christmas Eve, and they will be gone all of Christmas. Because I imagine that's gonna be a primetime game. One of those will be a primetime game.
I would assume.
I bet the games are probably 4 and 8.
Yeah.
Rough. That's rough.
Merry Christmas, Simone.
Merry Christmas, Simone. Per Joe Goodberry, who covers the Bengals, Broncos at Bengals week 17. So that means week 17, we would know the Broncos, that the Bengals are at home, and the Steelers and Ravens, Steelers at home, Ravens road, play on Christmas. So whoever you play week 18 in the division, because you're going to play somebody in the division.
It could be Steelers Ravens then on that Saturday before.
No, it's got to be.
Oh yeah, that's right. They can't.
So then it's not good. So we're not playing the Bengals week 18. We just figured that out. You're playing either the Ravens or the Steelers.
Oh boy.
Week 18.
I have nightmares.
Let's just hope that game's
I
at
have
home.
Nightmares
Hold
of
on.
those stupid squealers in week 18.
What about
I don't know
Ravens?
how many times?
What about Ravens week 18?
They tried to kill Connor Shaw.
Try to kill Connor Shaw.
Connor Shaw.
Johnny and Justin stay in the locker room. You're not allowed to come out on the field.
I don't know how many people actually know that story.
Yes, that was well documented.
It's a legendary road trip. A certain wide receiver was told to stay home.
Holy moly. Yeah. So there. All right. So we've deduced that. I don't know. Right? I mean, I feel like our deduction that has to be correct.
I would think. I mean, we have to be playing a divisional game.
If the right, and if the Steelers Ravens play each other in week 16, I don't think they're turning around and playing them again in week 18. They could.
I mean, we went back to back the 1 year with we had a bye week in between.
So I guess it's my guess is that's not.
You wouldn't want to do that.
No. Plus that means you would save their first matchup wouldn't be till week 6. That doesn't know.
I don't know. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
I can't wait to break it all down. I really can't. We're not going to Brazil. I'm ecstatic. We're not going overseas. I'm a little disappointed, but that's all right. I'm fine.
I'm hoping that means because we went well down the road and made a significant investment in time and preparation for potentially going to Brazil, that it means we're going to go to Brazil next year.
That's my.
And I'm hoping by being the second year to do it, that maybe it'll be a little bit.
Maybe they can move it to Rio,
and maybe we can
great.
actually go out in Brazil and see the country.
I don't know about that.
I'd like to.
Yeah.
If I'm going to Brazil, I'd like to see it.
Well, I don't know about that.
So
We
don't even know.
That's next year's schedule release.
That's next year. That's for next year. Yeah. So, all right. So we heard what we got the Saints.
The rumors are about the Saints, the Jags.
Jags week 2 in Jacksonville, and Saints week 11 in New Orleans. That's been reported from other teams' schedule leaks. And then we have deduced that we think we'll be playing. We don't know where, but either Baltimore or Pittsburgh in week 18.
Oh boy.
All right.
Little
bit of roster news right now. By the way, official week 1 primetime slate has been leaked.
Well, I think we knew most of them except
for
the Sunday
Sunday.
night.
Rams at Lions.
I figured. I saw something about that
Stafford,
yesterday.
Goff.
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
Rematch of the playoffs?
So you got Ravens, Chiefs, Packers, Eagles, Rams, Lions, Jets. NFL's loaded, dude. There are a lot of good teams. It's fun.
It's a lot of NFC. NFC loaded.
It is one more. Let's see. So you would have 2, 3.
There's only 3
4,
AFC.
5 and 3 out of the 8. Yep.
That's
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, some Browns news real quick as they put together their 90-man roster for camp. They claim tackle Kellen Diesch via waivers from Pittsburgh and signed wide receiver Jalen Camp. I remember Jalen Camp's name. To make this roster, the team has waived kicker Lucas Haversick, which we didn't need 3 kickers. You got D-Hop and you got Cade York's back.
Yeah.
Diesch is officially a first-year player out of Arizona State, originally signed by Miami as an undrafted free agent in 2022, spent his rookie season on the Bears practice squad and last season on the Steelers practice squad. Camp, 6'2", 220, officially a first-year player out of Georgia Tech, was originally drafted by the Jags in the 6th round of 2021. He's appeared in 5 games with 1 start, all with the Texans. Last season, he spent time on the Steelers and Panthers practice squads. One other video note, and please check this out because we love the Chief on this program, and this is a nice, healthy, hearty dose of the Chief. Episode 2 of Unleashed, now available at cleanbrowns.com and on the Browns official YouTube channel. Episode 2 features Pro Bowl tight end David Njoku. Go behind the scenes of Njoku's training in Miami, Florida, and hear from GM Andrew Berry, tight end Jordan Akins, and more. It's a good thing I'm not Ron Burgundy.
That's on me.
And
I don't know why I did that.
It's Miami's Florida. I guess it is Miami's Florida.
No, I don't know why I did that. I'm trying to figure out if I was going somewhere else with that sentence. And
Miami's hot sun or warm weather, warm climate.
I think I was going to put in like
tropical
his strength and conditioning people and all that because there's interviews with them. Jeff and CJ and Noah all went down there and they spent a few days with him. So,
oh baby,
pretty cool stuff behind the scenes with the Chief.
Oh man,
we should take a break.
We should, according to this leaker.
How about we say it after the break?
Tease. We got a few more things potential, but who knows? We maybe shouldn't even get into it. When we come back, we got a lot of stuff going on with Netflix and the National Football League. Kelsey Russo to join me in studio as well. We're going to hear from Juwan Briggs, and what a story he has for a rookie. It's wild. So you want to hear that, and then we're gonna do some more fun schedule stuff as we go on here. We are off and running on a First Friday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet. Champions League, the free gaming community for Browns fans around the world. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/Champions League to play Fortnite for a chance to win an autographed Deshaun Watson jersey. Got to get El Boods on that. He might take that down.
I was going to say, I think you've got someone that can
compete. He could compete, no doubt. A lot of news on this first Friday in advance of the schedule release tonight. Netflix has an early Christmas gift for you. They will be the global home of the NFL's 2 Christmas Day marquee games. And mark your calendars for Christmas Day in 2025 and 26, when Netflix will be streaming at least one holiday game per year as part of its 3-season deal. So you're saying this year, on Christmas,
if you want to watch the games,
it's Netflix only?
Yep.
And then the following 2 years, it's only one of the 2 will be on Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
This year, they're both on Netflix.
That's what I'm told. That's what NFL.com has. It's okay if you don't believe me. Yesterday, we had a rough day.
Not that
we had printed material that they gave wrong information out on.
Well, I'm just saying because the language that it says it's going to be, yeah. I think when it said global home, I thought maybe it would only be the streaming.
I hate it. Like, come on, it's Christmas.
No, here we go.
Put it on.
Games will continue to be available on broadcast TV in local team markets and on the NFL Plus.
Okay, so
app.
like only in the 4 cities that are playing.
Right. Man. Well, I mean, I've got Netflix, so that's pretty wild. You would think they want those games on network TV to just smash the They had to get paid a pretty. NFL fans in the U.S. must pay $1,600 a year to watch every game after the Netflix edition, according to The Guardian.
Ugh.
Netflix is what, $20 a month? Is it more than that? Is it $25 a month?
I thought it was $20 a month.
I think that was a long time ago. Let's see. Netflix.
I don't know.
You don't want to know.
I'm not going to lie. I bummed my kid's password off on the Netflix.
Don't say that out loud. Redact that, please, in the post.
Nah.
They're cracking down, Gibby. I'm just telling you.
Great.
This is a popular program.
I'm just telling you. Like, after what I pay for my kids, then give me a password.
All right. It looks like 20 premium is what most people I think would need. $22.99. So call that $300 a year.
Okay. I mean, it is what it is.
But yeah, that's the way they're doing it.
I just don't like
so
it's Christmas.
So that's
I don't know how they're gonna. Are you beating the NBA on Christmas with games on Netflix?
Yes.
Are we sure?
Yes. Did we? I
don't know if you are.
Yes. It's Kansas City, at Pittsburgh, and
but
Baltimore,
if you
at Houston.
can only watch it on Netflix. You know, Peacock last year.
There are going to be a lot of people getting Netflix for Christmas gifts.
I'm just telling you, I don't know how you beat.
Haven't they not been below 10 million on any of the streaming? Like on Amazon Prime, it's over 10 million. Here, let me look up the ratings.
I don't know the answer to that question off the top of my head. I could lie to you and tell you, but
NFL game.
That doesn't end well, I feel like.
Peacock's Chiefs-Dolphins broadcast drew 23 million viewers, becoming the most streamed NFL game ever. Yep.
Coldest game ever. People cut off limbs and fingers and extremities.
$23 million. I'm trying to see. What about the streaming for? That's all. So the Chargers, Bills.
That's at Christmas.
Saturday night, Christmas Eve, streaming 7.2 million.
That's enough to beat the NBA.
Oh yeah. Yeah, regular season. Yeah, that might beat NBA Finals. Have we seen the ratings for? I want to know what Caitlin Clark got last night.
I don't know, but I saw Darren Ravel tweet out something like the get in the door average cost was like $16, which is a joke.
Let's see. So nothing yet. That's what I'm curious to see. That I want to know what it drew and how that actually compared to the NBA playoffs last night or the NHL
Because both
playoffs.
NBA games were not good last night.
This game was competitive for a little while. How about the Timberwolves went 2-0 and then the Nuggets are just like, yeah, no.
That'll be enough of you. Well, they should. I think Denver's better than them anyways.
Well, yeah, they were for sure. I'm curious to see what they what those ratings are. That's gonna be a fun thing to see how they did. More from Netflix, by the way. They've been playing ball at the NFL for a couple of years now. The quarterback that started in 2023 this summer, it's receiver. It's going to have Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, that is
Sign up for
loaded.
that.
Unfortunately, Justin Jefferson's going to get hurt. Devontae's going to have some great games and then disappear. Kittle, Deebo, Amon-Ra, that should be awesome. Hard Knocks is going to get the Giants for the first time ever.
Hold on. So this isn't Hard Knocks training camp. This is a new spin-off of the series with HBO.
What?
This is the Hard Knocks off-season, featuring the Giants for the month of July, a 5-week series.
So it will be the first iteration of Hard Knocks to document the NFL offseason, chronicling Big Blue's moves from January to July. Now, I think this is going to be fascinating. I like this better than training camp.
I agree.
This is going to be about like big decisions, high level.
Think about what they've
players
had
draft.
happen over the last few weeks or few months.
Say this is the Saquon decision.
Yep.
Oh man, yeah, that's gonna be really good. There he is.
So he's coming back. The flowing locks.
Yeah, there he is.
So that's
right.
something. It's a new Hard Knocks spinoff. So.
All right, there it is. All right, Kelsey Russo coming in studio. When we come back here, Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, a sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio. All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, a sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio. And we are very happy to be joined by Browns staff writer Kelsey Russo in studio once again. Kelsey, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right, let's just start with the big news of the day, which is the international games were announced, and the Cleveland Browns are not among those teams traveling internationally. A lot of people thought we'd be the October 20th at Jacksonville. It's going to be New England instead. Were you surprised? No international for the Browns.
I was
Me
definitely
too.
surprised. Yeah. Also personally bummed because that would have been very fun to be able to go. But I was surprised because, the last time that the Browns were supposed to have an international game was in 2020. And so it seemed that they were due for an international game. And after losing out on Brazil, I thought that London would be made the most sense for them. So hopefully next year, because that would be fun, but we'll see.
Here's my theory, and I ran that by Gibbe and Connor earlier. My theory is we're going to go to Brazil next year.
Okay.
The league knows we did a lot of work on it. Mm-hmm. We didn't get it. So you're not going to go to London. You're going to go to Brazil next year.
That would make sense. I could see that happening. Yeah.
Yeah, and I said I'd be fine with it because it's the second year. Maybe they have it a little more streamlined, and maybe we can, be able to go get out in the mix in Brazil. So I would be fun with that. We do know from the Browns schedule, we know one game for sure. There have been leaks about 5 others from other teams' leaks. I mean, heck, there are 4 teams that have their full schedules out there: the Giants, the Eagles, the Saints, and the Bucks. And as you know, we play the Giants, the Eagles, and the Saints this year. So those games are reportedly out there as well. But when you saw Dallas home opener, obviously a big game, Tom Brady's first game. Number one, I'm excited about. Number two, I thought that kind of just said that the days of the NFL kind of not letting the Browns maybe be in the spotlight as much are over.
I did too. I mean, I think it's a really, really big game. You think of the last time that they hosted the Cowboys was 2016. The last time they faced the Cowboys in Dallas was 2020. So this matchup is a big one. And you think of you're bringing Dak Prescott here to Cleveland. Ezekiel Elliott's back with the Cowboys, so it's just like a really big game for that. And I just think there's going to be a lot of hype to start the season off with, an NFC East champ last year, coming into Cleveland Browns Stadium, setting the tone. So be a tough matchup, but a good one to start the season, I think. Yeah,
and you get the NFC East, and if some of these leaks are to be believed, we're going to run through that whole division very early in the season.
Very right.
Which is, again, we'll see. We don't know. These are the reports from other teams. The only one that the Browns have announced is obviously Week 1 at home against the Dallas Cowboys. What opponents are you most excited to see for the Browns, like when the game is, what time, if it's a prime time or not, for this year? We'll start in the division. What are you looking for from the division schedule?
Division schedule, obviously the Steelers game's up there. I think, that's obviously such a big rivalry.
Sure.
It's here in Cleveland. That's one of their home games. And so that's going to be a really big game regardless. And so that one, the Bengals game, I think too, just after last year.
Our whole division's awesome.
The whole division is so good. I think I read something the other day that was talking just about how good the Browns division is, or this division is, and how tough it's going to be this year. And so that's going to be really fun throughout the entire season to watch these division games go down.
What I think is interesting is if things are to be believed that are out and about, last year we opened up Bengals at Steelers, 2 division games, first 2 weeks. It might be a while until a division game this year based on some of the things that we're seeing, which is interesting how the NFL always does that. Non-division, what games are you most excited about? And obviously our home slate is pretty elite.
Yeah. Top of my list is the Chiefs game. You're bringing Super Bowl champions to Cleveland.
Yep.
This might get me some hate, but I'm a big Taylor Swift fan, so,
Why they get you hate?
Well, people are very one or the other of Swifties, non-Swifties.
All right, I have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm sorry, 3 questions for you. So my kids are both huge Swifties. So when I'm driving them anywhere, although my daughter just got her license, so she's now driving herself, but when I'm driving my son now, or if I'm driving both of them, for sure, that's what they put on. There's a playlist on Spotify called the Taylor Swift Complete Collection.
Yep.
And it's literally every song, every version of every song ever. And they put it on shuffle, the thing down, and I have to tell them what song it is.
Oh.
Early. If I can do it before the chorus, I get a certain score. I have to do it before the chorus. And I got pretty good. Certain albums I'm pretty good with. All right, we're gonna dive into this for a second. All right, favorite Taylor Swift album.
Ooh. I'd say. Oh God, that's so hard. Midnights.
Midnights.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Out of left field. Out of left field. I'm gonna go 1989.
Oh,
1989.
yeah, such a good
Phenomenal
one.
album. Okay. Of the Tortured Poets department, give me your top 3 songs from Tortured Poets department.
Okay. Fortnite.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm a huge Post Malone fan too, so
Okay,
Posty being
okay.
on that really does it for me.
Okay.
The Alchemy.
Which is about Mr. Kelsey.
Mm-hmm. And oh my gosh, what is it called? Why am I blanking? Thank You, Amy.
Okay, hold on. Who's Afraid of Little Old Me?
That one's
the
good. Yes,
banger.
yeah,
That's the
that is
best-
up there. That is up there.
that's the
That
best
is up
song.
there.
That's the
Yes,
best song
yes,
on that
yes.
album. Okay.
The other one, the other one, honorable mention. That one, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart.
That's a good one.
That-
Florida, Down Bad.
Florida, yes.
Guilty
But
of
Daddy,
Sin.
I Love Him is also really good.
A lot
Oh,
of good
see,
ones.
that's
it's a
the
good
problem.
album.
They're all good.
Well, she's very talented. All right. So I got those. Have you seen her in concert?
I have. I saw her last year in Pittsburgh, actually.
In the Eras tour.
Yes,
Okay.
the Eras Tour was incredible. My, honestly, hands down, best concert I've ever been to. I don't think anything will top that.
I saw her at Reputation when it was at Cleveland Brown Stadium.
Oh,
which
amazing.
was banger of a show. All right. Number 1 Taylor Swift song of all time. Only one. That's it. Just one.
Ooh. Okay, this is gonna go back because I
gotta
grew
go
up with
back.
her. You know,
Okay.
I'm in my 27 years. She has been there for most of it.
Okay. She's been there for all.
She-
Since she
yeah,
was born
all
in
of it, yeah.
1989, so she is older than you are.
I would say my top would be Enchanted from Speak Now.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's when I think of growing up, that song just is always been there. So
Mine is Don't Blame Me.
ooh, that's a good one.
It's a
Good
banger.
one,
It's an
yeah.
absolute
Yeah.
banger.
I do
Haunted
love
is
that.
also quite a song. I really think Who's Afraid of Little Old Me is really good. Smallest Man Who Ever Lived also very
Small
good.
is so good,
That's
yeah.
a little bit of banger. All right, are they going to get married?
I hope so.
So we had a thing on our board in there if they would make it to Valentine's Day of this year. I said absolutely.
Yeah.
There are a couple naysayers in there. I think Bo, you were on the right side of that. It was just Bo and Griff.
Absolutely, I was
It was
on the
just
right
Bo and
side.
Griff, right? Bo and
Yeah.
Griff. Yeah. They didn't believe in love, the power of love. Sad.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a little aside there.
Little
I know we got
aside.
sidetracked there by T Swift.
Yes, but Chiefs game in general. I mean,
Chiefs
you have
game. Yes. Way to
Andy
bring us
Reid
back.
coming, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that game is going to be very electric. And
The
I think
Kelsey
here-
homecoming
Yes.
is enough. I wonder, not having seen it, I wonder if they would, and I think they should, given the news that Jason Kelsey has replaced RG3 on Monday Night Countdown. That should be a Monday night game.
Yeah.
I've decided.
That would be exciting. That'd
Because
be-
you'd have both Kelseys in
Yeah.
Cleveland. Yeah, I don't know. All right.
hometown, bringing him back here. I'm here for it.
All right. Yeah, we gotta see. We'll see if that happens. I would like that. I don't know. Maybe not optimistic because I could be about it. All right. What did you see rookie minicamp? Let's talk about that for a little bit because
Yeah.
this is your second season.
First season.
First season?
Going
You-
on my second season.
Yes,
So
right.
yes.
Rookie minicamps in the past, prior to you coming to the Cleveland Browns, at times were huge events. It was like, let's get a look at our future quarterback, or let's see the savior. It's not that anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, can our first pick, which was our second round pick, Mike Hall Jr., can he show enough as a pass rusher to get to work in pass rushing situations and be part of the sub packages? Zach Zinner, hope we don't see you. No offense.
Yeah.
We got 2 Pro Bowl guards. Hope we don't need to see you play this year. So then there are young guys who are going to try to fight and carve out roles. Nathaniel Watson, at the linebacker, maybe Jamari Thrash at receiver. But what kind of, as you went out there and kind of observed it, and there are a lot of new coaches on the offensive side, so this is their first time out there. What stood out to you as you watched rookie minicamp?
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of the big thing, obviously, there's no pads, there's no contact, so a lot of it is a lot of drills. But I thought that honestly was really interesting because in their individual position groups, I heard like Andy Dickerson working with those guys being, going over like, have you ever done this drill before? And they were like, no. And they're like, great, this is a good opportunity to learn this drill and learn how we do this.
Sure.
Just those interactions as you see these young guys taking in information, learning just the nuances, learning their coaches.
In some ways, it's like a real one. You get some positions, you get like one-on-one experience. Like you're the only one here.
Yeah, exactly. So defensive line, Mike Hall, it was really interesting. They were doing some drills getting off of blockers and practicing pass rushing. And the way that his first step and his explosiveness as he is insane. And the way that he just like, Jacques was acting as like the offensive lineman, and so the way that he just like got off him and attacked the bag that looks like a quarterback, which I think is so funny now that they have arms. They they look like a person.
You got to go for the ball.
Yeah. But yeah, just his explosiveness in those scenarios I think really stood out to me. They worked on footwork and hand placement and stuff as well, and so I thought those elements of just really honing in on specific skill sets was really interesting to me. And then Zach Zinter with the offensive line, they did a lot of blocking drills, both like one-on-one and then on the sled, which I thought was really interesting. And for him, coming off of the leg injury, this was he said his first time really going through a full
since he got hurt
workout since he got hurt.
Yeah.
And so he looked really comfortable out there to me. He was aggressive in his technique. He looked really strong with a lot of power in those blocking drills. And just with the team drills.
Hey, we got copious notes here?
I did.
Oh,
I wrote them down.
How about it? I like it. Respect.
He said too, so like he's played a lot on the right side, and so he's stuck to the right side a lot in these drills. But what he's excited about and interested in is kind of the possibility of shifting, in camp to either the left side, center, just kind of being versatile and
that's the reality when you're a backup guard. You got to be able to play both.
Exactly. And I think him and Andy Dickerson were, they're excited about that opportunity because there is just that space for him to do that if necessary. So those two stood out to me. The Browns did sign Jacob Sermon, the quarterback they brought in, the tryout kid, which I thought was really interesting. He looked really good too from his throws. He had on Saturday, he had like kind of a one-on-one with Ken Dorsey, and they were throwing into the pocket net. Yeah. And it was just kind of funny because they were like go back and forth, like one would throw, then the other would throw, and it was cool just to see their interaction.
Sure.
And then the fact that they signed him as just bringing him in for camp and everything, I think is a really cool opportunity. He had a great pass to Jamari Thrash, which I thought was really cool just to see that connection.
Sure.
And Thrash looked really good in his route running and his ball handling as well, just really solid. So those kind of stood out to me as my main things that I took from.
And listen, with the quarterback situation, I think people have to remember Deshaun's coming back from injury, and so is DTR. So like even if right now it's just the rookies and the people who've been in league 1 year, you needed a quarterback here.
Exactly.
And so Sermon certainly fits that bill with DTR still not being able to throw as of yet, according to Kevin Stefanski. So one guy I wanted to ask, maybe I don't know if he made it in the copious notes or not, but it feels like, in years past, undrafted free agents would come here and feel like they had a really good shot to make the team. And you think of even, the last 2 years, D'Anthony Bell made it. And then last year you had Ronnie Hickman, Mahmoud Diabate, and then really you could count Khalif Halassi because he was undrafted with Kansas City, and we picked him up at the cut downs. This year it's going to be tougher, but if there is a position where maybe it could happen, tight end, how did the tight end look?
He looked really good. I also, same thing, really good ball handling, and just the way that in his pass catching was really strong. On Saturday they honestly just ran some very simple offensive drills, but where these guys ran routes and Sermon threw and found these guys open and everything, and he just looked really solid, like really good handling of the ball. I really liked what he had to show, and so I think he
got
has a shot. Yeah. Especially just from the way that he was taking in information when he worked a lot with the rest of the receivers because there wasn't a ton of them there.
You're right.
So, but just the way that he was able to kind of handle the pass catching and be that threat, I think would be a really good opportunity for him if he gets the
And
chance.
it's got to be cool for him. I mean, his position coach, Tommy Reeves, was just the offensive coordinator at Alabama.
Yeah, exactly.
Was a quarterback, obviously, at Notre Dame and all of that. So very cool. All right, let people know how they can consume everything tonight. Obviously, on TV, NFL Network, we're going to have our own schedule release video that's going to go out, and I think people are going to enjoy it a great deal. And then you've got your article kind of laying it all out as well, and that'll all drop around 8 o'clock tonight.
Yes, yeah, everything's on clevelandbrowns.com. There's stuff up currently about just assessing our opponents, our strength of schedule, because according to the NFL, that we have the toughest schedule next year based on records from last year, which is a whole other
nonsense
conversation, but but that article is up as well. And then yes, we'll have announcements, that we'll have follow-up pieces as well about our opponents and matchups and breaking everything down. So it'll be a packed night of content for anybody who wants to consume it.
It's going to be awesome, and I want to say kudos so far to the Cleveland Browns. The Browns have the fewest games reported out there of any team in our division. So good job on the Browns and the secrecy there. NFC is just a free-for-all. It's an absolute free-for-all in the end. I mean, the funny thing is, though, nobody cares about Arizona. Arizona only has 2 games out.
Yeah.
They don't, unfortunately for them. And Tennessee only has 2 games out. Those are the bottom.
Tough.
Indeed it is. Kelsey, thank you so much.
Of course.
And appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll come back. Hour number 2. Kick things off going around the sports world. Some not so great news, obviously, for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then we're going to hear from rookie defensive tackle Jawan Briggs, and what a story he's got as well. We're going to do a little higher or lower, better or worse, maybe even sweet spot. Maybe we'll hear the jingle for the person who's opening for the Rolling Stones. Do you know this? Do you know about this? All right, so we have a fan, Jade McRae, who is a lovely, lovely lady and a very talented musician. And she tours with a group or a guy who is opening for the Rolling Stones on the Hackney Diamonds tour. And she's a singer, and she's got her own stuff. She bought us our on-air light, which Gibbe, I think, is, I don't know what he's done to it. It's sad our on-air light's gone. Where is that light?
You ask me like I had anything.
I don't know. It
to do
wrote
with
a Mother's Day tweet to her, thanking her. The light did.
I know. That's your burner account.
It's not my burner account.
Sure kind of looks like
I don't have a
it.
burner
Sounds
account.
like it.
I don't. Anyway, this woman, Jade McRae, who's got unbelievable pipes and is a talented, professionally compensated musician who tours with some of the biggest bands in the world, cut a bunch of jingles for our show, and Gibbe won't ever play them.
What?
Yeah.
I feel like this has to happen.
Yeah, it's true. It's Gibbe, is it true? Do you deny these allegations?
We do have some things that involve copyright and a few others.
Oh, baloney! She made them copyrights. What? That's made up. She owns she made the songs for us.
She has agents and things like that.
Oh,
it's
please!
A legal question, my friend.
It's good. Oh my God! She says right this. This is from Jade today. She was writing back to the CBD on-air light. My son, the light of my life, nothing can illuminate my heart the way you do. Sadly, I have not seen you in many a moon, but I know you still shine brightly. You remain my greatest contribution to Browns Daily. The question remains, if a song is written, recorded, but never heard, does it really exist? With a tearful emoji. This is what you've done. Browns Therapy's all over you. Browns Therapy's furious with you.
Well, it's not the first time.
It's not, and it won't be the last. It
Yeah.
won't be the last. All right, hour number 2, Cleveland Browns Daily coming your way right after this. Welcome back. Hour number 2, Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio. And as you see to my left, what an absolute treat to have Browns offensive line coach Andy Dickerson in studio with us. And I have to tell you, Kevin Stefanski, you're the most interesting man in the world. So I'm expecting one heck of an interview here today. No pressure.
No pressure whatsoever.
So you and I have, obviously he's your friend, but he became my friend while he was here, a mutual friend, Ben Bloom, the former defensive line coach of the Browns, who's now with the Tennessee Titans. And I remember I went and interviewed him prior to the Seattle game last year. And he kind of talked about the Tufts trio, yourself, Shane Waldron, and obviously Ben, and then how excited he was for that game. And it actually ended up being an interview that turned into being a lot about you. And now here you are as the offensive line coach. But how kind of cool is that story of the three of you guys from a team in Tufts who have now come in to play major roles in the National Football League and at various points help pull each other in and around the league?
Yeah, it's actually incredible. So just, it shows that why representation matters. And, when I was Shane had gotten the internship with the Patriots, and then I was GAing at Tufts for that year. And then he calls after they win the second Super Bowl. He's like, "Hey, you still interested in getting to the NFL?" And it's like, absolutely.
Yeah.
So ended up interning with them for the first year. Then connected, stayed for the next year. Ended up going to the Jets with Mangini, and then we come up with Mangini out here, and then Ben Bloom comes and interviews, drives all the way out from Harvard for like a 2-week interview process, and then gets the job. And was kind of paying it forward at that point. Same thing, our coach, Coach Bill Samko, our head coach at Tufts. He's like, "Hey, I got the next one. I got the next you." And Ben's way smarter than me and better than me, so it was definitely a get. But Shane starting that, and then just continuing to go and just help, especially Division III guys, knowing that Bill Belichick.
For sure.
Bill Belichick went to Wesleyan, Mangini went to Wesleyan. There's tons of small school guys. You got Josh McDaniels, you got Nick Cassero, guys coming from the D3 schools, and you can do it. You don't have to play at the highest level to be able to coach at the highest level. So it was just cool to get your foot in the door, how a lot of people get in, and then just to pay that forward from what Shane did for me. And then as we've all continued our careers, just being stubborn and just keep working through it. Everybody's path's a little different, but it's definitely cool to be at the highest level. It's a blessing for sure.
No doubt. Was that pretty cool for you last year when it was your offensive line and his defensive line, and you guys had to exchange some pleasantries, probably not text as much? I remember he said we didn't text as much that week because of what was going on.
Yeah, no, it definitely was cool. So, I guess you could say it was some bragging rights a little bit, but anytime, it's hard to win in the league, no matter who you're going against, and if you want to beat everybody, but just that competition. And again, you got 3 tough jumbos on that field that day. Coaching in the NFL is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. You mentioned coming to the Browns with Mangini, assistant offensive line coach in 2010. That was your first kind of assistant position coach. And yet here you come back 14 years later, and you were with Joe Thomas then. He remembered you when I was talking to the Hoff about you. Come back 14 years later to be the offensive line coach of the Cleveland Browns. Was that something that was maybe not on your radar then, certainly not, but did you ever think it was possible you'd find your way back to Cleveland?
I just think anytime you have an opportunity to be in one of the 32 league offices, as I like to talk about it, like as long as you're employed and you're in somewhere where you got a clicker to watch tape and you got somewhere to work out and you can be involved in football, especially at the highest level, it's a blessing. So, you don't think about it in those terms, but it's, what opportunities are out there, and, it was to be able to come back to Cleveland because I've been here before is pretty special for sure.
So I'm sure you probably remember this picture.
Oh, there he is.
There he is, the young Coach Dickerson, the shaved head. So we've come a long way in 14 years.
Thought they got rid of those pictures, but yeah, a little different, little growth, little maturity.
For sure. It's a beautiful thing. So when you came here originally, and I think some people remember this, maybe not all, but your first interview here was actually for the offensive coordinator position.
Yes.
So obviously you made quite an impression in that interview that they said, well,
they're not good enough to be the OC now.
We need you in our program, right? Like to me, somebody says, hey, maybe not this, but we need you here, and maybe down the line that could be in the offing. But how did that? Do you remember that interview process? How it went?
It was probably one of the cooler things I've gotten to experience, honestly, in my career, because I haven't, fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, I haven't had to interview a ton.
Right.
You know people, you connect with people, you work with them. Going with Mangini from the Patriots to the Jets, and the Jets then here, and then linking back to go back to the Jets, and just different people in association that you get the interviews with, or but this was a true interview process. So it was very thorough. It was a full day affair.
Oh, they're thorough here.
Yeah,
Yes.
and why wouldn't you be? It's
Sure.
it's a very important job. But
Yes.
being able to finally really meet Andrew Barry, to meet Kevin Stefanski, to meet with ownership was amazing, and meet with all the different groups of people that you interact with throughout the whole process. And it was a little nerve-wracking. Obviously, it's okay. Whoa, this is an opportunity that I have, and you don't really think from the O-line perspective. I think a lot of times guys don't think OC's that step, but because again, it usually goes to the pass guys, whatever. Because
Sure.
again, they have a more of an understanding of the run game and the pass game, where a lot of times O-line coaches, you got protection, you got the run game, but that pass, that other element,
Concepts, right? Sure.
all that stuff. But to have the experience, I have to have the thought process of how am I going to answer these questions? What is my football philosophy? How do I think about those things? And it was just to be able to have that, go through that exercise and to make note cards like I was back in college, writing a
Yeah.
paper and just organize my thoughts on the flight, the flight over, and then getting the the interview, got picked up, and then started meeting with people and just sitting down and just. It was just cool because, again, me and Coach Stefanski are about the same age. I think I'm a little older, but, he grew up right outside of Philadelphia. I grew up in Wilmington, Delaware, so both grew up rooting for all the Philly sports teams.
Sure.
And then, both been in the league similar, started internship, interns, and then getting in there. So, but just sit down and talk football with somebody. Because, again, after, we got let go in Seattle, you're sitting there and you're questioning, like, am I good enough? What's going on? I think those are just natural thoughts to have. And then you get a call and you perk up, and then you start, now I get to talk football again, and you sit down and you put the tape on and you just talk about the concepts and different things you were a part of, and to be able to explain that and just have a football conversation, something that you're used to doing all the time.
Yeah.
And then you get to do it with, I'm meeting with a head coach for an opportunity, I'm meeting with the GM, I'm meeting all these different awesome people, and just, the best thing was kind of didn't think, in a weird way, it's like, do you really belong in this interview process? And then you go through the whole thing and you're like, wow, I feel really good about that. I had a good time just learning these people that I have never met before.
Right.
And just exchanging ideas and just having a football conversation, which when you love football and you do it all the time, like that's what you want to talk about. It's your hobby, it's your passion. And you get to talk about it. And I left either way. I left feeling really good about the experience and meeting with these guys. If it didn't work out, then something else maybe it wouldn't be this year, maybe just down the line, but just to have that connection, because you see people at the combine, you see them in the game. So I thought it was just it was an awesome experience, and I kind of wish I'd had more interviews previously just to meet more people and have more discussions and to be able to kind of tighten up those thoughts about philosophy and just the whole thing. It was an awesome experience.
And it strikes me just in talking to you here today, there are probably a lot of similarities. You guys kind of have a similar disposition. All of you are highly intelligent people, love football. So I feel like it probably felt like kind of natural with AB and Kevin and even probably Paul, if you talk to Paul, that group, it feels like you would fit right in.
I mean, I would hope so. I hope I'm
Well,
not
clearly you're
I
here.
hope
They
I'm not
wanted
the
it.
outlier of that crew, but it was just
It's a good crew to be in.
there's no doubt. And so it was just cool again to just have a
Yeah.
conversation, football, and you get a feel and a flow for how everything goes. And besides having wearing a suit and being a little uncomfortable, but besides that, it's you're usually used to wearing in sweats and t-shirt. But it's
And you favor flip-flops, right?
flavor flip-flops. It's a vacation for your feet as much as you can, but you got to put sneakers on when you get on the grass. But it was just an awesome experience just to have a football conversation with these great people.
When I moved here back in 2001, when I moved to Cleveland, I was in Atlanta prior to that, and I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. I wore flip-flops the first year as like a conscientious objector. I'm like, this winter's garbage. I can't stand it. I don't care. It's not taking flip-flops off my feet. That was kind of my philosophy.
It's not a bad one. The snow is when you really got to second guess yourself and just be situational to how far I can park. But if I can wear flip-flops, I'm going to wear them knowing that, okay, rain is okay. Again, being in Seattle, you have to power through some things. But with snow, that's probably where I'm going to draw the line.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. So I'm going to ask you a question that maybe was one of their interview ones about you kind of as an offensive line coach. What is your football philosophy coaching an offensive line?
I think the biggest thing is, what I like to say is it starts with finish, but it begins with technique. And it's like, well, what does that really mean? It starts with finish is there's a mentality to everything you're going to do, whether it be a walkthrough, a meeting, a lift. Like you're going to finish that, get all you can out of it. But through that, there's technique. It begins with technique. It truly becomes come to life. The whole thing comes to life with technique. So It's the nuances, it's the details, it's all those things. The communication has to go on between those five guys. That's a team in itself. That's a unit within itself. It's a team within a team. And you got to communicate to the tight ends. You got to talk to the quarterbacks. Maybe you're communicating to a wide receiver. So with that, it's just that's your team. So you're coordinating that group of guys. So they have to be all working together, because if one's wrong out of that, they're all wrong. Like, football is the ultimate team sport. You have to have all 11 in protection and in the run game. So just putting that stuff together, and those guys. And inherently, O-linemen are smart. They're tough. Usually don't get a lot of credit, which is okay, because that's just comes with the territory.
They're mushrooms, they grow in the dirt.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Feed them garbage, put them in the dirt, and yet still they flourish. Something along those lines. But it's just that's it. The communication and the focus and the detail of that group within the group. That's the starting point of that philosophy. I think that encompasses.
What's it like coming into a room where the starters, whoever they end up being, have all played together? That the core, certainly along the interior, those three have played together for a long, long time. Jack's been here for a while. Jed's been here for a while. Michael Dunn backing up. He's been here for a while. Luke was in the system last year. That it's most of the principals, or guys we hope are principals this year, and you never know with injuries, as you and I were talking about prior to going on the air, have been in the system and worked together. How helpful is that for you in being able to come in and know that there is an established group here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's nothing like playing experience. You throw in there like James Hudson as well. And,
oh yeah, Hudson, of course.
Yeah. Just guys that have all played NFL snaps, so just to get those reps. So watching Whippler play in that some of those games and just his reps at center or guard, just to see him move and see him operate in a game. Same thing. I was with Ethan in Seattle for that year, so having that familiarity. Went and worked out Joel when he was coming out as a rookie, so aging myself a lot.
Did you know he was going to go on to be?
I mean, he was a good player, so it's one
guard.
of those like, man, I'd love to have that guy. He's awesome.
You do,
yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's part of the crew. So it's always good that whenever you have a team that's had experience, O-line has been together. The team within the team, those calls, those nuances. Like you have what's on paper, but those guys within themselves, the communication from the center to everybody, but then guards and tackles knowing how to play off each other. Same thing with the interior. Those guys, so having that established relationships that they have, that bond that they already have, and then just stacking with a lot of the system is definitely beneficial.
I know we are implementing newer concepts in our offense that perhaps we didn't do as much of in the past. And Kevin's talked about that, obviously, with the addition of Ken Dorsey and you and Tommy Rees and Deuce and some new additions on that offensive staff. What are the challenges when you have that established group who had been in a certain system with a certain coach, who's very reputable, obviously, and Coach Callahan, for many, many years, in terms of, well, they had techniques like this, but maybe we're going to change it this way? Kind of what's your philosophy on that?
I think you bring in all these new coaches and you're putting together a system, and it's a constant thing. In my mind, you're trying to get right by the kickoff, the first time you have to kick the ball off in real play. So, you have Roy, you have Nick also working in the O-line room, so those guys' experience is where they're from, so all just collaborating. And again, even the players, like you talk to a Jack Conklin, you talk to an Ethan, you talk to a Joel, you talk to those guys who played, and you ask, you get some insight from them as well, just to understand, hey, what were you taught here? What was the thought process? So you have an understanding of what they were trying to get done and what they were being coached, and they were, number one, coached really well, and they did what they were coached. So it's all over the tape. It's a good offensive line.
It's a good
so you go in there and you're saying, okay, what are the things that were emphasized? What are the things do we believe in? And then you try to put those together to what's best for the team, not what I want to do, not what one person wants to do, what's best for the collective unit. So it's cool to see that they're all coachable because they were all doing very similar things, and it's all over the tape, the finish, the running downfield. That's inherently built into these guys, which is, it's awesome to see. You just have to, that stuff, that's awesome. We don't need to change that. Hey, here's some different thought processes or techniques or tweaks to certain things, but every week it's what's the best thing to help us win
against that
team
exactly.
that playing. What's the scheme? Is it a pen? Like all the things that go into that. So again, I like to say in the room, like we're having a football conversation. I want it to be a two-way street to understand what's going on and have them have input and ownership, because they're the ones doing it. It's not my offensive line, it's their offensive line. They're the ones out there doing it. But it's been great to sit down with Roy and Nick and just talk about, Roy being in Philly with those great O-lines and all the stuff that he's learned and learning from him. Because it's like, hey, okay, this is a different play. I don't know this play. Like help me understand what's going on here. And we just go back and forth and having those dialogues with Tommy as well.
So you're having a blast now.
You get to talk football. It's your passion, and you get to go to work every day. There were some days I wasn't going to work, and that's not as enjoyable. You're a constant learner when you're in it. education environment, and we are teachers. We
Totally.
are trying to give this information to these players and help them execute to the best of their ability and make them the best that they can be.
Is DeJuan the biggest offensive lineman you've worked with?
Probably.
Big dude.
He's a big individual.
Yeah.
He is awesome.
He is awesome.
It's great.
I don't know many people who, they're, okay, well, you get to sit behind Jack for all year, and then week one, he's out, and your first start's TJ Watt, Monday Night Football, good luck, and then he goes out there and is great.
I mean, and again, it was great because we actually did a Zoom interview with DeJuan when I was at Seattle. So again, it was cool after the game when we played. I got to go up to him and saw him and just told him like how it's awesome to see how he, had to step in and play because injuries happen. That's part of
Totally.
the game, and so you have to be ready.
You guys dealt with that last year in Seattle.
Yep, lost some tackles in the first game as well.
Right,
it happens,
one.
so everybody's got to be ready. You got a guy like Michael Dunn, who we had as a rookie free agent in Los Angeles,
Right.
And to see him work and work and work and put the work in and still be in the league because the average, it's like 3 years at somebody, especially an undrafted free agent, the odds that are stacked against you, but that's the type of person that he is. He works, he's smart, he's diligent, he cares, and so that's where, okay, he has to go in. And you're not looking at a drop off. You're just, okay, you're going in there, you're calling the plays. You're not changing things in my mind because he's earned that right, which is awesome to see that he does that as well.
Yeah, he had to come in 2020 when we went to the playoffs. Joel was out that week. He had to go start and get Cam Hayward and played his butt off. He was
there you go.
Phenomenal.
And that's the thing from an undrafted free agent. Again, it's not how you get into the league, right? Whether it be you played, you're D1 as a coach, or you coming from Division III NESCAC. Okay, do you work at it? Do you care? Do you get better at it? And so there's a role. If you work hard and are smart and are diligent, usually good things happen to you.
There's no doubt about it. Talking with the Browns offensive line coach Andy Dickerson. Rookie minicamp just happened. I think that's kind of a neat experience in the sense that it's really, in your case, there were a couple guys there, but it's like one on and you had your assistant. So it's almost like a coach to player ratio is 1-to-1.
Great learning environment. It's
yeah,
great.
Right?
Yeah, you get these guys in, Zach Zinter, got Lorenzo, got Javion. We got Roy in here, and as well, just guys that are coming in and just so eager, ready to learn. And that's the fun part because you have to reset and you can't take it different than the group you're talking about. Okay, guys, you had this play last year. We remember this. Okay, great. Right? You hit the details. You hit all those points, but those guys are hearing that information for the umpteenth million time. They still need it for the vets, but then you get the rookies where it's like, okay, let me slow down. What are the nuances? What are
They haven't
the
even done
details?
some of the drills before, right?
Yeah, so you're teaching drills, you're showing examples of that, trying to get them ready to perform with the walkthrough. And, hey, here's what we're going to do during individual. You talk about those things, and you have the time to walk through it, talk through it, and correct it as it goes. So, again, there's, Roy had some different drills from Philadelphia, so it's like, hey, let's incorporate these things. I think this is a great drill. So it's like, okay, you're learning, and I'm stepping back, and I'm he's running it because I'm trying to learn from him that drill. So you were teaching these guys the drills, we're teaching them the plays, terminology. And again, they're bright eye, eager. The first when you're supposed to be there at 9 o'clock, everybody's in their seat is 10 minutes early, ready, notebooks out, ready, and they're ready to go.
That's what Coach said. Loves rookie minicamp. They're there early.
It's great because and you're excited about it, and you get to go through, and it's like, ooh, did I cover that? Did we talk about this? No, okay, boom. Just so again, it helps us reset as well. We've already been meeting with the other guys, but to take it back in and then get back to, okay, here are the fundamentals. Here's the starting point. Let's start from day one, and here we're going to build this system, build this offense that we have, and then same thing. Lab it, and we might make some change, might call something one thing, then a couple of days later you're calling it something else, but just so they can hear the material and try to get caught up. So when the vets are back, then they're ready to go and can get in there and not miss a beat.
How's the terminology been for you? Is it similar to what you've done in the past?
Again, it's a lot of carryover stuff, but then it's like, okay, I used to use that word, but now maybe this is a different word. So you're just continuing to filter through.
It's a wild thing to me about the NFL.
Yeah, it's is it 2 plus 2? Is it dosey-dose? Like what is it? What are you trying to relate it to? Everybody's had those plays. Zach Zinter's had these plays. Javion's had these plays. Lorenzo's had these plays, but what did they call it before?
Sure.
So it's just placing it in a different bucket to get your mind right so you can don't think and just play.
All right, I'm going to get you out of here on this, and we very much appreciate the time. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. And this is what I asked all the players first time I ever interviewed them. What's something you want Cleveland Browns fans to know about Andy Dickerson? It doesn't have to do anything with football, but when they kind of see you out there on the sidelines or they come to training camp and they see you, what's something you want them to be thinking about you?
Wow. This is a guy who enjoys what he's doing, and he looks like he's having fun. Because I am. It's football. Like I said, it's a blessing to be able to be in an NFL building, to be working with these guys. And I mean, it's football. It's
Yeah.
like it's okay. It's my occupation, but it's also my passion. So, hopefully they see me and they're like, this guy has fun. He enjoys what he's doing. He enjoys teaching and seeing these guys take a technique or a play or an understanding and executing that at a high level, and seeing them have success at practice, at whatever it is, to have them have success and be successful. That makes me happy.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much for the time.
Thanks for having me.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Browns offensive line coach Andy Dickerson. When we come back, we're going to hear from rookie defensive tackle Joanne Briggs. It's Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, a sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio. All right. Andy Dickerson. Well, how about it? Impressive. Enjoyed that thoroughly. That was a lot of fun.
That was great.
Yeah,
Shout out
he was
Dom and Dan taking care of business.
Yeah.
He's been in meetings the last couple days, so he's like, "Hey, I got a window." I'm like, "Come on in."
Come on in. That's what we want. Come on in.
Absolutely. We'll get a few more. I think Mr. Staley will join us next week.
Oh, baby. How
Our
about
new
it?
running back coach.
All right. I like the sound of that. Like the sound of that as well. All right. We're going to go around the sports world real quickly, and then Jawan Briggs will hear from our rookie defensive tackle. An amazing story. Cavs Game 5 tonight at 7 p.m. in Boston. It's
I don't know who's even playing.
win or go home. Do we know who's not playing for sure?
No.
Oh, so they're
Ty
all.
Jerome is the only official one listed out, but
Thank you, Kev.
Thank
people
you.
aren't expecting Mitchell or Allen. Levert is now questionable, and I know Darius has been dealing with stuff, but
It is
he's not
game
on the
5.
injury report.
Let's go.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
This is ridiculous.
When did Mitchell get hurt?
In Game 3 at the end, he
Yeah.
tweaked a calf issue that he already had this year.
It's the
Same
NBA
leg as that
playoffs.
knee problem, too.
Yeah. You just want to see like them just. Let's
And
figure
now
out
the
a way.
rumors are that LeBron was in the crowd the other night to woo
Okay, one person
Spider
said
Mitchell
that.
away.
First of all, yes, I read that as well.
Did you
But
read that?
Yeah, but that's not what Wendy said.
Correct. Wendy didn't say it, but
No.
didn't Woj say it?
It was in the Athletic. It was somebody
Okay.
from the Athletic.
I don't look, man. I don't know.
Wendy said last time he
Wendy
was here, he came back to the Cavs. So I don't know, but
I
it's
don't know. This sucks. This is the way that this is going down.
it's just you're going to be out there with nobody. I mean, this could be like if Mitchell, Levert, and Allen all don't play, it's like okay, what are we doing?
Not ideal. I'm bummed about it.
Yeah, same. It's not fun at all. It's not great. The PGA Championship begins tomorrow. Again, you're right. It is crazy that it's played in May, but I guess it is nice to have a major golf event at Valhalla in Louisville. Big pairings on Thursday and Friday. Tiger, Adam Scott, and Keegan Bradley. My range buddy.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I'm not used to golfing at places where tour players hang out and golf. And I just remember driving up to the range, and from afar, I could see somebody hanging. I'm like,
Someone's
that dude's
hitting some
good. I'm like, who is
bombs.
this guy? This guy's swing is unbelievable. And every shot was just like, pew, pew, pew. And as we're driving up, and then they're like, oh yeah, that's Keegan Bradley. I'm like, man. Brooks Koepka, Max Homa, and Jordan Spieth. That's a fun one. Rory.
Got some issues going on in the personal world. Yet he's like the second best favorite right now.
Justin Rose and Dustin Johnson. That's a great, great trio. Justin Thomas, Xander Schauffele, and Ludwig Aberg, which was, I think that was like Uno's guy, Ludwig. And then I don't know who Scotty Scheffler's playing with, but can he win major number 2? Yeah, he can. He's the best player in the world right now.
I don't know.
Yeah, he can.
Just had a kid. Is the kid sleeping through the night? Do we have this under control?
He's the best golfer in the world right now. It's like other golfers are saying, pro golfers are saying he's boring because he's so good. That's boring. He doesn't miss fairways, doesn't miss greens.
Well, it's playing longer. This course is playing a ridiculous length.
No, I'm excited for it.
And I know that there's weather in the forecast for Friday. That could spill over into the rest of the weekend. I know there's weather forecasted. I was hanging out with some friends of ours on Monday,
Okay.
and there's a group of 8 of them. They leave tomorrow morning bright and early, driving down. They're playing 18 in the afternoon at one of the local courses down there. They have an Airbnb. They're going to the PGA Championship Friday, playing another big-time course down there on Saturday and coming home Sunday.
Wow.
I'm all in. I'm jealous.
Okay.
That's a nice little week at the Bourbon Trail. Although I'm assuming everything is going to be super expensive given what's going on.
Yes. There's no doubt. Yeah. There's no doubt about
Yeah,
that.
but I think it's fascinating, and I believe can we watch all of this?
I think so. I mean, it's an early start. Justin Thomas, 7:53 a.m.
Unlike the Masters, I think
Yeah,
we can watch all.
I would think it's all going to be. Yeah, I would think so.
I meant to look this up before the show. That's what I mean.
All right, you're doing great. You're doing great. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You are. You're doing fantastic. We talked about earlier, Jason Kelsey replacing RG3 on Monday Night Countdown, joining Scott Van Pelt, Ryan Clark, Marcus Spears, Adam Schefter, and Michelle Beisner-Buck for the show. 13-year veteran will appear on the pregame for Monday Night Football throughout the regular season, Super Wildcard Weekend, and the divisional round of the playoffs. I mean, it feels like it would make a lot of sense for Browns-Chiefs to be a Monday Night Football game. In Cleveland, bring the Kelsey brothers home together.
Yeah.
It would make a lot of sense.
Taylor.
I don't know if we're going to get it,
I mean,
but I think it makes a lot of sense.
who gets hurt with that?
Nobody.
So you can watch ESPN Plus has coverage starting at 7 a.m. Thursday and Friday till noon. ESPN TV noon to 8. Saturday, ESPN Plus at 8 a.m., ESPN at 10 a.m., CBS starts at 1.
Okay. So then, yes.
I like it. We can watch it all, wall to wall.
All, wall to wall.
I'm here for all of that.
As we should be able to. That's exactly what we're trying to do.
My buddy just sent me a text. Can you go back to Taylor Swift talk? You don't like the golf talk, Janko?
Oh, he enjoyed that. Ask him what his favorite song is.
I don't know if that was complimentary, though, either.
I'm sure it was not, but I'd like to know the answer to that.
Finding out now.
Thank you very much. All right, when we come back, Jawan Briggs, Browns defense tackle. What a story he is. You'll hear from him. I've gotten a lot of texts when some of the facts about his story have come out where people were saying, man, I really hope he makes this football team. So we're going to have him. That's when we return here on Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet. Billy Joel and Rod Stewart together for the first time ever Friday, September the 13th at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Tickets are on sale now, so visit clevelandbrownsstadium.com/Billy and Rod 2024. clevelandbrownsstadium.com/Billy and Rod 2024 for more information and claim your tickets now. Don't miss Billy Joel, Rod Stewart together, one night only. Time now to go to the podium, presented by Vivid Seats, the official fan experience partner of the Cleveland Browns. Here's rookie defensive tackle Joanne Briggs.
Joanne, what's just the emotional ride been like from getting the call a couple weeks ago to now being here for the first time?
I've been on an emotional high ever since. So, it was always a building up to this point and just making sure that I could, put myself in a position to hear my name called. So now I'm riding high on those emotions and ready to attack camp with that same energy.
As Saturday went on, did you think you were going to get drafted?
I always approached it with, the worst expectation. And then if you hear something great, just think of it as a hell of a blessing. So that's how I looked at it. I wanted to make sure I had things in line. I have my family, so, I'm not just thinking of things on a whim. So I wanted to make sure I had things in line, a plan in place, and I just got blessed enough to hear my name called, so I got to make the most of it.
What's the short version of leaving Virginia and coming back to your hometown? Why did that go about, and why was that important?
Yeah, so what happened was I was like 6 games in, doing well, already had 3 sacks, 20 tackles, feeling pretty good as a nose tackle. But my wife had gotten pregnant with my son. So, the stipend wasn't what it was now back then. So the stipend wasn't there, NIL wasn't there. So I figured we weren't going to be able to support a child on what I was getting there. So, we had a couple choices. She's from Philly, I'm from Cincinnati. So it's either go UPenn or go Temple, or I can go to University of Cincinnati. Both her parents worked, only my dad worked, so I figured we'd get more help at home. I was able to get back home. I actually picked up a couple jobs and, was able to make the most of it.
What were those jobs?
I was a manager at a chicken spot called Chicken Cone. Pretty much just, you make an ice cream cone, put chopped up chicken in. It's the wildest thing, but people loved it.
How long did you do that for?
It was during the off season, so pretty much during the summer and into the winter I would work there. And my manager, Kenny, great guy. I mean, to this day, he's a great dude for letting me do that and really just teaching me how to do all that and pretty much let me provide for my family and my people do that. So it's pretty nice.
The hours had to be tough.
Oh, yeah. So I'm waking up early, getting to practice early, about 6. After 6, you go practice, lift pretty much until about maybe 3, 4, 5. If it's a in-season day or if it's a spring ball day, you're going to 5, 6 o'clock. After 5, 6 o'clock, I'm heading right up 30-minute drive to Blue Ash down there and closing up shop and, working until about, home about 10, 10:30 and make dinner and breakfast, make breakfast and dinner for the next day and, wash, rinse, repeat.
Reading about you, Joanne, it just seems like you're talking about your family now, that's a big part of who you are. So can you just talk about how you met your wife,
Yeah.
name, and your kids and all that?
Yeah, so as soon as we touched down at UVA, we met. So I got there, I think, June 6th, right after my state track meet. She got there early as like a transition program. So literally the first day we got there was a campfire at our dorm. Met her, saw her then. Then it was kind of petered off a little bit. But then it ran back up and, we kind of got there into the second year of the season. My son popped out, so it was like, well, time to grow up. And, after that we convened together, made a pros and cons list of staying versus leaving. So we decided that would be best to leave. Left, went to Cincinnati, and then, I figured it would only be right. And, well, hey, you already are having my son. Let's get married. So that's kind of how things fell into place, and we've been killing it since then.
What were the kids' reaction when you got that call and told everybody I'm going to the Browns?
I would love to say that they were, oh, daddy. But my kids are my kids. They like to do what they like to do. So I'm freaking wrangling them. They're running around acting crazy. Mind you, they go to bed at 7:30 promptly. So they're running around, my daughter and son wrestling. So I'm pulling them apart, and, I get that call on my phone. Everybody sit down. My wife's holding my youngest son and trying to hold them back at the same time. So it was a lot of fun that night.
And how old are they and their names, please?
So Juwan, my oldest son is 3. Ren, my daughter, she'll be 2 in July, and then Zane, my youngest, is 8 months.
Just talk about your training and lifting and conditioning and all that stuff. How much it's helped you advance to this point.
Yeah. So for me, I'm big on, especially when I was younger, I was big on being really eclectic. And you can be eclectic but be, bad at a lot of stuff. So my thing was be eclectic and find what you're really, really, really good at. I was good at, singing. I was good at academics. I was good at football. I was good at track and field. And, I was good at loving on my family and working. So I took those basically 5-6 things and then just put my all into it. I love working out even from high school and into college, getting more workouts and extra workouts. I love nutrition. So just taking care of my body, making sure that, I look the way I should move and I move the way I should look. So just making sure I have that, and, family, of course, just making sure I have time for them as well. Football, man, I can talk about football for hours, whether it be watching film. I don't play video games or anything. So whether it be staying up late, watching film with my son, drawing up stuff on the board, or, even just getting out and walking through and doing a couple club rips on something. So it was really just a matter of trying to put my all into those 5 to 6 things that I really decided to do. And that's pretty much what I'm doing now, too.
How does your family and just what your experience inform your expectations and your drive coming in here as a rookie?
I think it's everything. Everybody has their why, but it's a big thing to have your why, and it's a really big thing to love. It's a really big thing to love football, but it's a little bit different when you have somebody else depending on you. And I got 4 people depending on me immediately. So that kind of amps up the urgency to things, and just really makes me take advantage of every single second out there.
You hope to be here, but as a 7th rounder, you're not guaranteed. So is the family moving up right away? Like, how are you handling it?
No matter what, I keep my family with me. So I'm actually going to look into figuring out and getting a place. And my goal is to outwork and pretty much just put my best foot forward. And, all you can do is control the controllables. You can just be responsible for yourself. But in saying that, family is one of my big things. So I'm keeping my family with me all throughout this process. If I got to break a lease, if I got to sign a new one, doesn't really matter to me as long as my family's with me. And, just really being able to go home and look at that why every time is something big for me.
What excites you the most about the Cleveland Browns and just being in this city?
It's big for me coming from Coach Schwartz and Coach Jacques and Coach JT. It's just really big for me coming from a freaking lateral, passive type defense to be able to really just pin my ears back and go. I've never really had the chance. A lot of guys will say, oh, well, he did 42 reps and he squats XYZ. Well, why is he on the line all the time, or why is he, playing lateral or whatever? And a lot of people don't understand that, if you're a well-coached player, you do what the scheme dictates. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like to do to help my team win and help my team be great. But finally, I get a chance to kind of play at what I think would be my strengths, and that's just attacking the guy in front of me and just really getting upfield and, letting my strength play its part.
Did you know anything about the Browns before you were drafted here?
Yes, sir. So my dad's from Detroit. My mom's from Springfield. So we've pretty much been around the whole Midwest area all the time. I've known a lot.
You mentioned knowing what you like and what you're good at, then you said music. Can you tell us about your relationship there?
Yeah, so music has been a big thing in my family. My mother and father, and pretty much everyone on their side, have all grown up with music in their families and singing in church, even singing during concerts and singing and playing in orchestras during, school. I have 4 older sisters. All of them were musically inclined, a little more so than me, I'd say, but they all did different things. So that plays back into me saying I like to be eclectic. I decided to look at all of them and try to do everything. So my oldest sisters, vocalists, but then they were also good at the piano and percussion. Second or third oldest sister, she was a violinist, pretty much. She was great at the violin, and also a great vocalist. She actually does a lot of shows in Kansas City now. My third oldest sister is a vocalist, plays the piano. She played the clarinet all the time. So for me, I just wanted to try to do everything they did. So, I fooled around on the piano. I have a saxophone at home. There's a flute laying around. I have bass guitars, electric guitar. My son broke my electric guitar. I don't have it. He actually broke it in half, so I got to get a new one.
You weren't playing at halftime in high school or anything, right?
Oh, at halftime, no. But I've sung at multiple different, singing for national anthems, singing at a lot of different solos at different concerts. Even going into college, I had a lot of different solos, a couple different solos at UVA. I was in a couple different courses there. I went on tour in London to sing with an a cappella group at UVA as well called the Hullabahoos. Great time, great guys. Once I got to UC, they actually have a pretty well-acclaimed music program called CCM. So I sang through there and all their courses till I graduated.
I'm guessing you haven't been in many locker rooms where there's other guys who are married and have kids. I know you're not the old guy, but do you ever just feel like the old guy in those college locker rooms and even just around here this weekend?
Yeah, so shoot. I'm only 22, but I had my 3 kids when I was 21. So a lot of guys you'd call, oh, Uncle Briggs, oh, Unc's coming. Meanwhile, some of these guys are 3 years older than me in college. So I think it'll be refreshing being the young guy again. So we'll see what's happening.
Obviously, starting a family, you switched schools, but you also graduated. Thanks, guys. When did you get your degree? What's it in?
Yeah,
what
so
went into that?
I was a double major in physics and music at UVA. Also did some computer science stuff there. So, once I transferred, it was really iffy because the portals just opened up. So I transferred, and my academic advisor basically said, you'll have to add 2 extra years to your program, or you could switch to interdisciplinary studies, graduate early. So I switched to that, graduated earlier than she thought. I actually graduated in, I think, 3 years. So I graduated December 2022, got in college in 2019. So graduated with my undergrad, then I got grad certificate in software development.
Going back to the singing aspect and your sisters being in that world as well, but like when you were younger, how did you figure out that you had that talent as well?
Yeah, so I'm complaining about my house. My parents, our house was like a cacophony of noise all the time. We were making bands in the basement. My sisters were upstairs playing instruments, practicing together, because a lot of them were in school together. We're so close. All of us are like at most 2.5, 3 years apart. Some of us are like 1.5. So they were in the same orchestras and the same choirs. So they're singing, practicing their parts, playing their instruments together. So it was a lot of noise. So, it was pretty natural for me to just, hop in and see what I can do. And, they'll yell at me, tell me stop, you don't sound right. And I go to school and get into it and learn, and then I sound perfect with them. So it was just a matter of, learning it from them.
All right, that's Browns rookie defensive tackle Jawan Briggs. He's going to be somebody that everybody's rooting for, obviously, in training camp this year. When we come back, so much more to come here. Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet.
In a minute.
All right, 8 o'clock tonight. All the Browns social media platforms. Get that schedule release video.
And
NFL Network.
Yeah, you're going to want to watch it.
The schedule release, you are going to want to watch it. Maybe some cameos for people that
are on the air currently.
Right now,
30,
at this very
30.
moment. Yeah, it's quite possible. Can't say it isn't. You'll find out at 8. We'll find out what the Browns do. We know we open with Dallas, and you and I believe that we have deduced that we will end with either Baltimore or
15.
Cincy. No, Baltimore-Pittsburgh. Baltimore-Pittsburgh. Because, yep.
The next level's next.
The next level is next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet on 850 ESPN Cleveland.